So something a little bit different today. It was World Mental Health Day yesterday, so figured I would do a vlog, my first vlog on mental health and the challenges that I've faced and continue to face in mental health. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of talk through these slides a little bit. So who is Mike Perkins? Picture on the right there, probably one of my favourite pictures. There I am. That was September last year, doing the base camp Everest trek with my father, who was 73 at the time, and my father-in-law, who was 66. Pretty special time, really incredible. So why have I put that picture there? Look at that picture, top of the world, yeah? So 41 years of age, 6'4", slightly large athletic build, blonde hair, size 11 feet, small chip on my front tooth, scar on my left hand, confident hockey player, broke my nose as a kid, got a line across it. Funny story, bending down, taking some books out of my school bag. A friend of mine decided it would be a great idea to push my head down, and I banged it off the corner of the table and broke my nose. Tattoos on my arms, cheeky smile, always up for a good time, often the largest person in the room. When I say largest person in the room, never wanting to be the center of attention. I just mean in presence, in physical presence, being 6'4". Little funny ChatGPT kind of summary of Mike Perkins. You can read that, I won't read it, but it did make me laugh at just how accurate it was. So the one that makes me laugh is blending into the background and trying to sneak a snack from the kitchen, which is, for those that know me, is absolutely me. But more importantly, what does this slide kind of portray? It portrays somebody that is super confident, who has got it kind of all in order, and has no challenges. If you look at me, you'll just see a large guy that seems to have it all together. Who is Mike Perkins behind the scenes? A couple of visuals here. Love both of these, and we'll come on to them shortly. But here's a little kind of timeline background of me. So kind of age 5 to 16, and I say the age of 5, I just remember being around that age, and I had a couple of routines which I knew were different. Okay, so I knew they were different to what I think other kids of that age were doing. For example, I used to, like many kids, I used to go to sleep with teddies. I think they were called pom-poms, if I remember right, and they were called pom-poms. They had like a little long tail with a pom-pom on the end. Now, I could not go to sleep if those teddies were not perfectly in line, equally spaced, tails totally straight, no kinks, knowing that the minute I roll over, they're all going to get messed up. But honestly, I could not go to sleep unless those teddies were in order. Okay, an overthinker. I mean, the age of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, why on earth should a child overthink? I kind of get it a little bit in later life. If you're married, if you've got kids, you've got dependents, you will naturally overthink a little bit because you've got responsibilities. But as a child, no reason to overthink. Age 17, I was finally medically diagnosed with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I didn't really know what that meant at the time. It was a label all of a sudden I was given. Aged 18, doctors gave me a couple of kind of routes. One was medication, one was CBT, that's cognitive behavioral therapy. Completed my first course, At the time, I wasn't sure I got much out of it. Yeah, I'm not sure. On reflection, I did, because what it gave me was it gave me acceptance. I started to understand that OCD was a way, it was part of me and part of my personality. But like I said at the time, I really didn't feel like I got much out of it. You know, it was really kind of driving, trying to understand how your brain works in terms of not being able to rationalize rational and irrational thoughts. You know, but it was, yeah, a tough one. Age 19 to 27, I battled through my 20s with grit and determination. I was a couple of years late going to university, then straight into a career job, which is a career I'm still in, albeit for a different company. I really didn't talk about my mental health challenges, especially not in my career. Why? I guess I was really, really scared of how it may affect my career, how people may view me. So I kind of boxed it all up, yeah. Age 28, I was medically diagnosed with perfectionism. I didn't even realize that was a thing, okay. But hey, second label. Age 30, completed my second course of CBT. Felt like I got a little bit more out of this one, okay. But it reinforced who I was and the fact that my OCD and now perfectionism were parts of my personality and who I am. Okay, it also opened up my eyes to different types of therapy, alternative therapies. I read a lot of books now. I do an awful lot on the mindset, on creating a positive mindset. Am I the most positive person? No, I'm still on a journey, but I am getting there. Okay, long-term sufferer of not feeling good enough for fraud or fake, brackets imposter syndrome. Little visual on the right-hand side there is a great kind of summary of imposter syndrome. Left-hand side there, what you think you know, and then what you think other people know. So you almost think everyone else knows a lot more than you, yeah? Whether it be in a personal environment, a work environment. In reality, we're all the same. We all know the same. Yeah, some might know more than others, and you know, in different topics, etc. But we're all equals. Imposter syndrome, unfortunately, caused me to make a decision to leave a job. I was doing really well. I was head of contracts or contract lead for Collins Actuation, responsibilities in the UK and North America, and it broke me. And it wasn't the job that broke me; it was me that broke me. I didn't feel good enough. I felt like I was going to get found out. I felt like I didn't deserve to be where I am. I didn't deserve to have the role that I had. And yeah, it caused me to leave. Felt like I needed to go and rebuild myself. In reality, that wasn't the case. So the visual at the bottom, I love, okay, because I think this is the case for so many people. Lots of smiles. I walk through the office in the morning and I see nothing but smiles, happy people, happy, you know, and if you take that on face value, everyone's got everything together, yeah? Everyone is fully complete, no worries in the world. What people don't see and what often people don't open up with is the challenges that they have behind the scenes, okay? You don't know what's going on in people's lives. That's why if I'm out walking, I see someone, I will genuinely ask them how they are. And it's not a, you know, it's not a how are you and you're not interested in listening to their response. It's a genuine how are you. And I don't think people open up enough about the challenges that they have. So who am I right now? The right hand picture there, that's me having successfully reached Base Camp Everest. again, like I said, an amazing memory, one that I will cherish and hold forever. You know, doing it with my dad and my father-in-law was simply incredible, and it was a lifelong dream of my own to do this trek. Just made even more special with those that I did it with. So I'm a mix of slides 1 and 2. Okay, do I have it all together? Absolutely not. Do I have my ups and downs? Absolutely. You know, that's life, yeah. But I now feel that I'm good enough. Okay, I feel that I deserve to be where I am in my life, in both a career and a personal perspective. You know, I'm a family guy. I'm married, 15 years, 2 kids, age 14 and 11, 2 girls, absolutely incredible. You know, really lucky to have that. Career, career-wise, I'm in a good place. And so, yeah, I feel like I deserve to be where I am now. Strange one, the next one. I'm proud of my mental health challenges. Why do I say that? I'm proud because I've overcome them. I'll continue to face challenges and I'll continue to overcome them, but I'm proud because it's a journey that I'm on, like so many others, but I've embraced it. Okay, it's had its ups and downs, but I've got through, which just makes me a stronger character. Okay, I'm proud for that. I'm confident. Okay, it may not come across it in this video. I'm probably a little bit nervous being my first vlog, and who likes the sound of our own voice? Certainly not me. But I'm confident. I'm not arrogant, but I'm confident. I'm confident in work. Okay, and I'm confident outside of work. So I'm aware of surroundings. I'm aware of people's feelings. I think probably one of the most important on here, I would say, if not the most important. Yeah, I'm aware of people's feelings. I treat people how I would wish to be treated. So often in the workplace, I see line managers coming down really hard on their team in an open forum, and I sit there and I'm like, what? Why? You know, it's having the opposite effect. You're not promoting people to be their best. You're not helping people be their best. The polar opposite. You're creating a work environment which people just won't want to be a part of. You know, we're all humans at the end of the day. We're all equals at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm super aware of people's feelings. The final point is I'm extremely aware that I will never be 100% cured, if there's ever such a thing. You know, I will continue to have challenges, and I will continue to overcome the challenges. But what I do is I exercise my mental mind daily. I reinforce lessons that I've learned along the way. I meditate. I am not great at meditating. I get distracted so easily through a noise or whatever, but I try and I'll stick with it, and I'm sure over time I will become better. I journal. I do something called a 6-minute diary, 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes in the evening. Why do I do that? So the 3 minutes in the morning is kind of gratitude and what you want to achieve for the day. The 3 minutes in the evening is reflection. Okay, how many of us go through the day? We have a list of jobs to do, and you get to the end of the day, you've not done that list of jobs, and what your mind focuses on is, well, I didn't do the list of jobs, so I didn't have a successful day. Now, what could have happened is something came in left field, right field, totally took you by surprise, and you prioritize doing that instead. And so for 3 minutes in the evening gets you to reflect on the day and look at, okay, so what did I achieve today? Which I think is really, really important. Okay, so last slide, I promise. Why am I sharing what is super personal information about myself to people that I don't know? Okay, so there's a stat here: 1 billion people across the world suffer with mental health. 1 in 7 people. I think the number is probably far higher. You know, I just think people haven't addressed their mental health issues or are afraid to talk about their mental health challenges. They box it up. Okay, they're afraid of how it will affect them, how people would judge them. How work might judge them. Well, I can tell you, if you're working for a company who negatively looks at mental health and limits people's progression, it's not a company you will want to be part of or should want to be part of. Okay. Thankfully, any company that I've ever been into embraces these challenges and allows people to talk about them, which I think is really, really important. Okay, so often people run away from their challenges and lead a very, I say, sheltered life, but they're just not living up to their true potential. And I think that kind of visual in the middle there is really key. You know, they go through life kind of boxed it all up, covering it up, and in doing so, then they're just not embracing that life, and they're not living up to their full potential. So I can safely say that my challenges, my mental health challenges, has never limited my opportunities, and I'm proud to talk about them. Yes, it caused me to effectively leave a job, but that was my decision. That wasn't because I opened up about my mental health challenges and the company thinking that they didn't want me to be there. The opposite, they tried to keep me. I just couldn't overcome my own personal challenges at that point in my life. I'm in a different place now, which is great. Final point there is I now recognise OCD as a part of my personality and perfectionism. Okay, over the years I've learned to deal with it, and it can spike. I know the triggers. So, for example, and if you follow the expat mindset, you'll know that I'm a solo expat. My wife and kids live in the UK. So when my wife and kids come to visit, it's amazing. We have a great time. The day they come to leave, I know that for the next 3 or 4 days, my OCD is going to spike. It creates anxiety. I'm clearly going to miss my family, and as a result, my OCD spikes. That's a trigger I can't avoid, okay, because I want to see my wife and kids. But I have ways to deal with it. Exercise is really, really important for me. So I find that, you know, for the week after my wife and kids have been, my exercise, even so I exercise daily, I exercise more for that week because it's a distraction. It takes my mind away from it, and in doing so, it makes me feel better about myself. So yeah, I'm able to overcome these and be aware of my triggers. I really hope you've found this vlog interesting. It's super personal for me. I hope that having, you know, shared this, if this allows one person to open up about their challenges and talk to somebody, it's worth it for me. It really is. If you like the expat mindset, you like what you've listened to today, you like the blogs that I write, please do follow me. You'll get alerts for new blogs, and yeah, thank you all, and have a great day.